Welcome back to the channel. I'm 318 Will Run. Some weeks ago we started an episode on the heads for the 5.2 build. These are the EQ heads, now cast in China. If you haven't seen that video, it's worth looking at simply because it might save your engine. We found loads of crud inside these intake ports. It was really bad. I'm not talking about a little bit of, dustings. I'm talking about a palm full out of one port. Just holding this up, scraping these two intakes to see what I get to fall out of the port. Let's see what fell out. How about that? Anyways, all I'm doing with this head right now is I don't really consider this porting, but I'm going to take you over here and show you what I'm doing, and I'm just going to do this to the intake ports. Under the seats, there is a nice little sharp ridge, and I'm just dulling that ridge. You're probably talking 5 minutes a port is all I'm doing underneath here with my Dremel. I'll show you. All I'm doing is right underneath here. You can see that there's a sharp lip, right? See how that kind of disappears? It's right there. A sharp lip right here. Underneath that, it's sharp. Underneath that seat. You can kind of see where the sharpness ends and it goes black. All I'm doing is what you see here is I'm dulling that sharp ridge towards like this. So you can see it. And that's all I'm doing because I didn't like that there. So now the forever ending question that many people have had. What did the guy say when you got back to him? The guy you bought him off of with all that crud coming out of the intake ports. So I originally said in that video I was going to send him the video, but the video ended up being like 13 minutes long. I doubt he would have stayed and watched it all because the crud actually happened toward the end because I gave it to you in real time. So I took snapshots of the video at certain spots to where I had good vision of all the crud that came out, and I sent that to him, and he replied back right away, and he said that for sure it was casting sand, his fault. He admitted it right away. So I expressed my concerns about how this could have easily tore up my engine or anybody else's that would have got these heads. He had apologies, said he was going to go out on the shop floor right then and there, see where the breakdown was and how that got past the people who did assembly, the people who did the machining, all of that. I did not get offered any compensation for it, for my time to clean everything up or anything like that. There was no compensation offered. Just an apology. For me, I really wasn't looking for compensation or a different set of heads to be shipped to me. What I really wanted was for him to go out on the shop floor and fix it. So I replied back to him and told him, that would be my biggest concern. That if I got two heads, and they're not sold as a left or right. There's no left or right. There's just one head. If I buy two of them and both of mine have this in there, then I know it's not the only one. So whether there was a part of their process that was broke that day, regardless, I cannot believe that I got the only two heads that were like that. So in my opinion, if he did go out on the shop floor, bring those pictures with him. He needs to look at his process, look at his quality control, talk to the people who work for them out on the floor, the machinist, whoever it is. In my opinion, they need to pull everything off the shelf at that point and go through it for a quick inspection. Pop a couple of valves out, look, because you cannot send that garbage out the door. Because that's what it was garbage. Again, when it comes to heads, I just don't get it and say, bolt them on out of the box, right? I'm going to look at them. I'm going to pull them apart. If you remember, I did a home inspection on the Speedmaster heads, and them were a true bolt-on. They were ready to go. I took them apart. I did a couple of little touch-ups with my Dremel that didn't have to be done. They were a true bolt-on. They're still on the car now. That was what, 2 or 3 years ago? I don't remember. But those heads were a true bolt-on. And those heads were aluminum, and they were cheaper than what these heads were. So I guess I can't say that I'm totally satisfied. And the reason why I say that is because I never heard back from him of what he found on the floor, the process. If I would have been him, I would have offered to, hey, can I refund some of your money because you're going to have to take your time and clean them? Because that's ridiculous on our part. I didn't get any of that, so I got half of what I wanted, him to acknowledge they made a mistake and that he was going to go fix it. I guess that was about half to 3/4 of what I wanted. I guess these days, he just, the right hand's got to watch what the left hand's doing, because it's hard to find people that care on the floor anymore. Anyways, you're up to date on what these heads are. Here's our next step for these heads. We are going to take these heads to Lane Performance Machining. That is the people who helped me with the work I needed done on the Dodge van, that 318 two-barrel heads that we took to the No Name Nationals. He helped me with those heads. Basically did the work that I wanted to be done that I couldn't do at home. I'm going to take these heads to him, and I'm going to have him further the inspection. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If it wasn't for you, the viewer, I would not do this. I would finish these heads at home, clean them myself, assemble them myself, do all the checks myself. I can do that. I have done that to my satisfaction. Not as perfected as a machine shop could. But if you want to see how I do that, I made the video on home inspection of the Speedmaster heads a couple years ago, I think. But anyways, I want to bring you guys more details at my expense. I want to bring him to Anthony down there. I want him to look at the valve job, give his opinion on it, and I want him to scope. I got my opinion on what it is. I think we got a decent valve job. It actually looks like almost a 4 or 5 angle valve job to me. So I think we got a decent valve job. I want him just to look. I want him to look at the valve stem heights. I want him to go through that. And I want him to look at the valve guides and see, if he thinks they're too tight, too loose. I just want a professional opinion so I can bring these heads. It means I found the junk in these heads. I want to see if there's anything else that's alarming that's junk. And I want to bring that to you guys and have him fully inspect it. And I want him to fully give his opinion on it, on where we are with this. And that way we can find out, do they just not care in cleaning and they don't care if they destroy an engine? Or do they not care on all their machine work and everything else? So I'm going to bring it to Anthony, and it'll be more than me sitting right here at this table saying, yeah, they did a good job, or oh, it was so-so. You can get professional opinion on this head. So we're going to take the heads down to there. That's the next step. I just wanted to keep you guys posted. I've been getting messages, people wanting to know what happened to the EQ heads. So I just wanted to run an update by you. The heads go to the machine shop next. Till then, have a good day. I'm trying.